Hey guys, Hellhound, and I haven't done an album review in a while, and I recently realized that I haven't tackled an album by Megadeth yet, other than discussing their first two albums in my Big Four of Thrash Metal episodes 1 and 2. So check out those two videos if you haven't already, and note that I am planning on making a third part real soon. Alright, so here we go. Countdown to Extinction, which was the fifth release by Dave Mustaine and company, just turned 25 years old a few days ago. So I figured I'd celebrate its recent anniversary by reviewing it today. Getting tongue-tied already. Released in 1992, Countdown to Extinction. Well, I've witnessed some of the more elitist metalheads refer to this as Megadeth's, Megadeth's Black Album. People say this is Megadeth's Black Album. Did what the Black Album did to Metallica, Countdown to Extinction did to Megadeth, according to them. But then again, I've also seen that label go to others, such as Cryptic Writings, so, who knows. Either way, I disagree. I would say it's really more like Megadeth's And Justice for All. I'd say that myself. But, because it's still a pretty solid record, and while it's not really my top 5 favorites from the band, I'd still say it's a worthy entry to their discography. So maybe it's not quite as good as the album that preceded it, the Near Flawless Rust in Peace, which is a masterpiece, or even the one that came after it, the also excellent Euthanasia. But that does not mean it should be overlooked, by any means. So it's a little more commercial and radio-friendly than their previous efforts. So what? It's got its flaws for sure, but it's still got some superb songwriting and musicianship to deliver exactly the type of thrill I've come to expect from this band. This was the second album to feature Marty Friedman on guitar and Nick Menza on drums, and as I mentioned several times before, this is by far my favorite Megadeth lineup. Friedman is he's just easily the best guitarist they've ever had, and is among my top 10 favorite axemen of all time. Hell, probably even top 5, really. Hardly anybody comes close to his breathtaking leads and highly memorable melodic solos. Marty's just a genius on the 6 strings, and his kick-ass shredding was made for Megadeth. Nick Menza, who is my favorite Megadeth drummer as well, by far, I might add, is also a force to be reckoned with. His heavy and precise beats are nothing short of incredible on this album. He just had serious chops. Rest in peace again. And let's not forget the main man himself, Dave Mustaine, the CEO of the band, the founder, the frontman, the longest surviving member, who he's of course a great guitar player in his own right. He's written some truly classic riffs here on this album even, and his performance really shines on songs like Architecture of Aggression, which has a simple and mid-tempo pace, which fits perfectly. I've never been a huge fan of Mustaine's vocals. I think a lot of people agree with me on that. But they have become kind of a staple of Megadeth's sound anyway, and I really couldn't picture anybody else singing for the band. He's mainly a guitarist, and he just kind of sings because he couldn't find anybody else to do vocals. But I do think his singing's definitely gotten better over the years. He's improved his style greatly since that overly nasally and nearly indecipherable squealing on Megadeth's debut album, Killing Is My Business, and Business Is Good. I dug out my old Megadeth shirt, from the Peace Sells tour, which is faded beyond belief. Probably can't even tell it's a Megadeth shirt anymore. Just so friggin' faded, but that's kind of what inspired me to this video, actually, other than the 25th anniversary thing of Countdown to Extinction. I think David Mustaine has gotten better at singing. I don't think he's as bad as some people say. Some people say it ruins Megadeth for them, which, no, I disagree. Bassist David Ellefson gives a solid performance as usual, and I heard that he actually composed all his own bass lines for this recording, which is impressive. It definitely you know, a good thing, a step in the right direction. His steady and firm playing, combined with the dynamic drums, provides for more than adequate rhythm section. And the lyrics, written by Mustaine, mostly deal with themes such as war, drugs, and the U.S. political system. You know, the usual with Megadeth, pretty much. So yeah, the chemistry between the musicians featured here is very strong. It makes for some exciting and truly memorable tunes. Despite it not being quite as fast or heavy or as memorable as Rust in Peace, Countdown to Extinction is usually unfairly lumped in with mediocre albums like Risk and World Needs a Hero. It's kind of like South of Heaven by Slayer. Everybody who bashes it seems to have just wanted Rain and Blood Part 2, whereas here they wanted another Rust in Peace, which, why have more of the same? I kind of like it when bands branch out and try something new, going for a different approach, just as long as they don't, go too far, as long as they stay consistent and true to themselves, unlike bands such as Metallica. Sorry, I apologize. I still love Metallica, but a lot of thrash bands did this in the 90s. They kind of expanded. They kind of they changed their sound. They became more of like traditional, like just ordinary metal. They're less heavy, less aggressive. And I think that Countdown still, easily comes out on top when some of some of Megadeth's fellow thrash brethren were just getting embarrassing at this point. So I don't think they've quite reached that level of low yet. So now, having said all that, I do have to agree with some of the criticisms that the CD often gets. As I said, it's by no means a perfect album. Whoops. Yeah. Yeah, by no means a perfect album, of course, and has its downsides for sure. Some of the songs, such as the title track, just seem to lack energy and focus, and like some others seem like they were solely written to hit the radio charge, which would be fine if it wasn't so obvious. I'm not saying there were sellouts at this point, but there were definitely some noticeable changes that seem to really become apparent here. Also, some of the tracks are a bit repetitive and lack variety. I'm not going to compare this album to Rust in Peace like a lot of other metalheads do, but let's face it, they were at their creative peak during that album and had clearly started to run out of ideas at this point. This is also the first album to not feature Vic Rattlehead, their mascot, on the cover. He's really cool. He's my second favorite metal mascot, next to Eddie from Iron Maiden, of course. Yeah, Vic's really cool. I was sorry to see him go, but he came back a few albums later, and they got rid of him for a few releases. But came back. Hold on, I'm busy. But yeah, I don't blame Marty Friedman for any of this. Any of the flaws, by the way. He's still a god among some men when it comes to guitar. The only song that reminds me of the previous album is Skin of My Teeth, which is very technical and melodic. One of their best songs, I would say, Sweating Bullets, which might possibly be the most well-known track here. At least I remember the music video being played on MTV constantly. I'd say it's one of the weaker songs of the album, and kind of feels like just filler, despite getting a lot of airplay. I kind of despise the lyrics, too, which are pretty much just a little stupid, to put it bluntly. Come on, Dave, you can do better than that. The chorus is kind of catchy, though, I guess. But anyway, despite its flaws, I'd still say you should give Countdown to Extinction a pretty good record. You should give it a chance. If for anything, just to hear Marty Friedman's amazing compositions alone. He never gives a dull performance, in my opinion. And even if some of the material here isn't quite as inspired as some of the band's earlier work. Hold on, I'm busy right now. Hold on. Sorry. His skills are still prevalent here. I don't care what anybody says. Anyway, give Countdown to Extinction a listen. When you get a chance you hadn't already. There may be, some forgettable songs you'll find yourself skipping over for sure. But there are others that are among some of their best work. The highlights for me that I personally recommend, let it be Foreclosure of a Dream, Architecture of Aggression, This Was My Life, and of course, Symphony of Destruction, which has one of my all-time favorite riffs, a catchy chorus, and an insane atmosphere. It may be a bit overplayed, but it's great. Megadeth rules, and while they never had a lineup quite as awesome as the Friedman-Minza era, the band is still on point even today. So yeah, Countdown to Extinction from 1992. Pretty good album, not as good as some of their other work, but definitely check it out. You won't be disappointed. Well, maybe a little bit, but it's still pretty good. Alright guys, I'm Hellhound. Long live Megadeth and keep it metal. Until next time.